Open this up to us today. Reveal yourself to us and make us known. Amen. So John Wesley is the Church of England priest who lived in the 1700s, and he started the Methodist Church, right? And one of the things that I identify with about Wesley that makes him very real to me is that he struggled to find assurance in his faith, like real assurance. So for example, when he took the long boat ride from England over to the colony of Georgia, where he'd be a missionary, big storms hit the boat. And for Wesley, his knees and his faith were shaken. He was scared to death. But he looked at the Moravian Christians who were on the boat with him, and they were like rock solid in their faith. He looked at them and said, man, I don't have that. I want a faith like that. He longed for it. Well, one day, once he was back living in England again, he got what he was looking for. It was when he went to a meeting on Aldersgate Street, and he wrote in his journal that he went very unwillingly. But for whatever reason, he decided to show up anyway. And at that meeting is when Wesley felt his heart strangely warmed. And here's how he wrote about it in his diary. I felt I did trust in Christ, Christ alone for salvation, and an assurance was given me that he had taken away my sins, even mine, and saved me from the law of sin and death. So what amazing sermon was Wesley listening to on that day? Was it some famous preacher who had come in? No. What was read that day, just read out loud, was Martin Luther, the great reformer. He wrote a preface to the book of Romans, like a commentary on Romans. And someone was reading it out loud to the group. That's what got Wesley's heart warmed. That's what gave him the assurance he was looking for. So I did toy for a moment. Instead of writing a sermon this week, maybe I should just read that out loud to us and see what happens, right? But I decided not to take the shortcut. But what I do want us to do is to spend these middle weeks of Lent digging into the book of Romans. It's the last letter that Paul wrote. It's like the grand finale, his theology all summed up, the best that he could do to explain the importance of Jesus Christ. And because of that, it's had a great impact on people like Martin Luther and John Wesley. It's also a complicated book. It can be difficult to read and understand. And so what I want us to do is work through it slowly, one chunk at a time, so that we can see the argument as a whole and why it would have such a powerful hold on so many of our forefathers and foremothers in the faith. So today we start with the opening chapters of Romans, chapters 1, 2, and 3. And I want to encourage you, if you're in the habit of doing the daily readings that are in the bulletins, this week they'll take you through those chapters. And so it might be worthwhile to read them through slowly throughout the week. But for today, I want to sum them up that they fall under the umbrella of why do we need Jesus? These first 3 chapters of Romans are Paul answering that question. Why do we need Jesus? And the answer can come in one simple word: sin. We need Jesus because sin is a problem. Now, sin affects all of us. And it often comes in the form of our selfishness. Doing good things for ourselves is fine, that's good, but often our egos distort that so that we want to do things to ourselves even when they're contrary to God or harmful to other people. needs a solution. So in these opening chapters of Romans, Paul brings up 3 different ways we try to solve the problem of sin ourselves. And the first one is by ignorance. For Paul, he points to the Gentiles, the non-Jews, because these people who are not Jewish, they've never read the law. They've never read what we call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible. So how could they break a command if they don't even know it exists? Maybe sin isn't applicable to them. Paul smashes that theory to pieces. He says, look around. God is obvious. Clearly there's a God. And I think if we look within ourselves, we know, we have this sense of right from wrong, even if we haven't cracked open the Bible. Even if we've never read Exodus 20, where it says, thou shalt not kill, we have this sense that there is something bad about murder. Right? So Paul says, in this case, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance can't be the solution to sin. Then Paul turns to the law. Now, Paul has spent his time as a Jew and as a Pharisaic Jew, which means that he followed the letter of the law, like the 10 Commandments and the other 613 laws contained in the Old Testament. Paul was on all that, following it rigorously. So he speaks as one who knows, who has done his time here. I've never attempted quite that, but I have done my time trying to live in complete obedience to the Bible. In my teenage years, I thought, okay, sin is a problem. It makes me feel bad and wrong. And so I'm just going to do everything right. And that will solve that. Yeah, laughter is appropriate. Only a teenager can have that kind of bravado, right? Of course, I quickly realized that that's not possible. But on top of that, focusing on complete obedience to the law has a way of focusing us on sin. It can be similar to if you've ever done a really strict diet, like where you journal everything, count every calorie, watch all the points. A diet like that can make us even more obsessed with food. You ever felt that? And so an obsession with the law can do the same thing for us with sin. So Paul says the law is not the solution. So if we've tried ignorance and we've tried complete obedience to the law, sometimes then we will resort to comparison as a solution to sin. In other words, well, I'm not as bad as that guy. But comparing ourselves to others doesn't change the reality of our own souls. It can make us feel a little better. But the ultimate judgment is in the eyes of God, who sees all of us straight through to the core. And it doesn't matter if I'm better or worse than my neighbors. God sees the real me. Comparison isn't going to do it. It's not going to save my soul or solve the problem of sin. And so we're left wondering what the solution could be. To break it down even further, I thought this week how it's similar to housework. Housework. Whew. Y'all, I have 2 little kids, and the struggle is real. Housework never gets done. And I am fortunate, Alan and I are very much partners in this. We are both tackling the housework, and yet the laundry and the dishes pile up, and there are Legos all over the floor every day, and we just live in chaos. So I was thinking this week, what if we took these 3 approaches and we want to claim ignorance or not. Now, I do like having everything neat and tidy. And so I have at times thought, well, I just would like to have everything all done. And then I can rest easy if all the housework is done. But you know how this goes. Once you clean the floors, you notice that the baseboards are dusty. And then once you clean the baseboards, you look up and, ooh, the ceiling fan blades. And as long as you're up there, it dawns on you, when's the last time anyone looked at the top of the refrigerator? And once you're up there, ooh, the back of the refrigerator. And one thing leads to another. There is always something else that needs to be cleaned, right? The laundry never gets done. The dishes keep dirtying themselves. The children keep using the bathroom. Everything keeps getting dirty again. The solution is not by completely getting the housework clean. So maybe comparison. I mean, because I may not keep my house perfectly, but, I mean, the Joneses, or those other neighbors, I mean, I've seen their yard. I bet their house is in worse shape than ours. But that doesn't change it either, right? We're the ones who have to live in our house, and it does not matter what kind of condition anyone else's house is in. I've got to live in mine. And the solution has to be something bigger than that. These are the dead ends that we run into when we try to solve the problem of sin on our own. Sin is a problem, and it's a serious one. When we get to chapter 6 in Romans, Paul will say famously, the wages of sin is death. It's a problem we have got to solve, and we cannot do it through any will or force or negligence of our own. We need help. And that is why we need Jesus. Now next week, as we work deeper into Romans, we'll talk about the how that Jesus solves the problem of sin. But for this week, the second week in Lent, maybe we can just sit with this knowledge and be brave about it. To honestly confront in ourselves that sin is a problem, and we cannot fix it on our own. And let that fuel in us gratitude